ANOKHI Uncensored had the opportunity of chatting with one of the world's biggest comedian superstars, Virdas, about his upcoming world tour, Mindfall, making its US stop across multiple cities in March and April, and here's why you should go. Virdas, welcome to the ANOKHI Uncensored show. We are super excited to welcome you to North America.
Thank you. I've never had a welcome to North America before. It's usually America or Canada, but I love that you're taking the continent. It's very nice.
Well, I think we have to, if you consider what's happening on the continent right now,
Yeah,
right?
true,
It's
true.
such a
Fair
shit
enough, fair enough.
show.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I wouldn't say it's a shit show. I think it's just a show. I think it can get way more shit if you want it to.
well,
So yeah,
it probably will before it gets better, but we're not
yeah.
here for that today, Virdas. We are here to tell everyone why they need to grab their families, friends, and co-workers and come see you at your much-awaited world tour, where the US leg is happening from right now to
Yeah.
April the 11th. So first of all, I've got to ask you this. Why Mindful? What an interesting
Um,
title.
it's a show about being an idiot. It's a show about I think there's this massive class on adulting that somehow I seem to have missed. And I think that most people my age who are allegedly adults are just children who are pretending to have their shit together. And I think that's what the show's central theme is, you know.
What an interesting concept. I can't wait to actually see it. But for people who have never seen you live, Virdas, what can they expect from your show?
I will talk about the world. I'm a bit of a global citizen, so we'll talk about America, India, the world as we see it. We'll talk about social media. We'll talk about Gen Alpha, Gen Z. We'll do all the broad themes. And then the second half of the show is storytelling. So I'll talk about myself a fair amount in the second half. I will make fun of myself far more than I will make fun of you. And it is a glimpse into modern India and who India is today. Maybe perhaps not the version that you last remember seeing, you
Oh
know.
my gosh, that's so interesting. Well, I was born and brought up in England, so I'm
Okay,
the auntie generation. So I look forward
nice,
to what you talk about on your show.
nice.
So for people who have seen your shows, Virdas, is there anything unique that you'd like to share with everyone? People who are always at your shows. Anything different here?
I mean, a comedian show is always just a snapshot into where he is in life and where the world is at that moment in time. So this is definitely a show about silence at some level because I feel like we're all kind of wondering whether we should speak our thoughts or not speak our thoughts, and not in a political kind of way, but in an everyday kind of way as well. We're so inundated with opinions. Most of them aren't smart. Mine certainly are not smart. And it's a show about saying all the foolish shit that comes into your head. So I think that's something that you might look forward to as well.
Oh my God, I love it. And is this show for the family?
No,
Okay.
it's 18 and above, very clearly. It's not for
Okay.
your family. Don't bring your daughter or your son. If their first words are doggy style, it's not my fault. So no.
I love it. So I want to ask you a bit of a philosophical question. Why is comedy important and what makes someone funny?
Comedy is not important. Laughing is important. And comedy is just the gateway to laughter. So as long as you need to laugh, I will hopefully be important. And what was the second question again?
So the second part of this was what makes someone funny?
Vodka and rejection. I think are the two things that are pretty good ingredients for stand up. So yeah.
I love everything about that. That's like a whole other show. But I want to ask you, Virdas, like comedy is one of the most difficult industries to make a career in, and
It is,
let,
yeah.
let alone excel in it the way that you have done. Not knowing this at the start, that, where you would have gotten to, why choose comedy? Like, and in India of all countries.
Well, no, India has a long history of comedy that far predates America, actually. We have Hasya Kavis and we have, writers who made fun of kings way before America even existed. So I don't know. I think being a comedian sometimes is like being the only person who sees the ghost in the room, where you're like, this is absurd. Is anybody else seeing how goddamn absurd this is? And then you find a tribe of people who also see it, and then you have no choice but to talk to each other. That's kind of how I see stand up.
Oh my God, I love that. I've never heard that before. So you are one of the most prominent comedians in the world today, Virdas, and not only one of the most prominent Indian comedians in the world, because people all over the globe love you. What have you found from feedback from your fans that keeps them loyal to you? Like there's so much consumption of content out there. What is it? Why are they loyal to you?
Um, I don't know. I mean, it's something you have to ask them, but I don't think I have fans. I think I have an audience, and I draw that demarcation very clearly. Fans want a selfie and to throw their underwear on stage or whatever. I've never had that. My people are an audience who come in with very large expectations, and I think they keep coming back. Hopefully, because I continue to deliver on those
Mhm.
expectations.
When do you know you're funny? Like, when you're scripting and you're
When you
coming
get
up
a
with
laugh,
concepts.
that's it. And then if you don't get a laugh, you're not funny. It's as simple as
Hmm.
that.
So when you're scripting, how do you know that this is like a great
I
concept that you
don't. I
just
don't
came up
until I
with?
get up
Yeah.
on stage with it, and
Hmm.
I'll write 10 minutes, and then I'll go up on stage, and half of the 10 minutes that I thought was hilarious ends up being not hilarious, and then the other half that
Hmm.
I never thought was ends up being the thing that I need to work more on or go deeper into. So there is no better teacher than the audience, really. You just got the nice thing about stand up is having new material and going up and bombing. Stand up is 99% bombing. And then you get 1% gold out of it.
Hmm. For people who are, looking at comedy as a career, but it's daunting. There's so many things about it that's scary, right? Like being judged, being in front of an audience, being in front of people that you don't know. Y- Did you face all those things? Like,
I do, yeah,
yeah.
every day. What I always tell people who want to do stand up is if you can do anything else and be happy, for God's sakes, do that. Uh, Only do this if it's the only thing that makes your heart sing, you know,
Hmm.
because it ain't easy.
Absolutely. How has comedy changed, do you feel, now that we are very, very, sensitive? We are, right? Like the world is so sensitive and the whole woke thing. Like, is it difficult
I think
to
it swung the other way completely. I think we're now insensitive, and insensitive is the mainstream, and comedy will always be the counter voice. So I think now that the mainstream is just sort of America's back, let's say everything and make fun of everything is out of the window, and all sensitivities are out of the window. It's a really good time for nuanced comedy and
Mm.
for more sort of layered voices to come in because that will be counterculture.
Absolutely. We are in this renaissance period of Indian comedians being like globally renowned. Like people
Hmm.
are finally starting to realize how funny we are because we have so many circumstances that we can talk about. Um, how do you feel that has changed the opportunity to go into this kind of a career for our
Well, I think
community?
it's because, we're having an audacious moment in the world. Indian people are always taught that if you're abroad, just keep your head down and prosper. Don't speak up. Just be so grateful to be abroad that you never express an opinion. Now we're kind of global enough and successful enough and audacious enough where we're like, no, I'm going to tell you what I think, no matter where we are in the world, and I'm funny. So I just think
Absolutely.
we kept it a secret for way too long, and now we're done keeping it a secret. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's really interesting is that, I always like to know who it is that you'd like to emulate. We all have role models. Who has been that for you and why?
very early I got to do a movie that was produced by Amir Khan, and I got to write the Filmfare Awards for Shah Rukh Khan, and I got to watch George Carlin and Eddie Murphy, and seeing the kind of work ethic that these massive stars have firsthand as their writer or as one of their actors, and just being able to see comedy greats and combine those two things have been a big influence on me. You know,
Hmm. Hmm. Why do you feel you've been successful, Gurdas?
dumb luck, sheer luck, and sleeping with the right people. That's it. That's really it.
Absolutely not. It's because of your incredible talent. You just keep coming out with it all the time. You work very hard. These are the real reasons. Come on.
Well, I still think I've just slept with the right people. That's it. That's
I
all it
love
is.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to know who your role models are in the comedian world.
I George Carlin, Johnny Lever, Eddie Izzard, and yeah, that's about it.
Any
You know,
particular reason? Yeah.
George Carlin for unapologetic intellectualism, Johnny Lever for utter freedom on stage, and Eddie Izzard for improvisation.
And what about female comedians? Like, do you have any favorite Indian
I
ones?
love Michelle Wolf in the States. My
Mhm.
favorite Indian comedian is Aditi Mittal. I love Sumukhi Suresh as well. She's really, really good. Yeah, I think those would be it.
Perfect. And for anyone that's coming by this conversation that you and I are having that don't know who you are, like, first of all, what? Second of all, what would you say
Oh,
to them to come see your
I
show?
utterly assume that they will not know who I am. So listen, I'm Hassan Minaj, and you should come see the show because I'm ridiculously handsome and tall. But in case you cannot get tickets to see that shit, my name is Veer Das, and I'm from India, and I'm from a new modern India that you should come check out.
I love it.